Into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of... Here we go. Into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of... Here we go. To the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind of Dan and Dave, into the mind...
I got this, all right. Hi, this is the Dan and Dave Mindset. My name's Dan.
How you doing? This is Dave here.
This is our first episode tonight that we've ever done, and we're going to start you off as we're kind of figuring out what's going on.
That's right, midstream of just everyday sort of conversations that we have, I guess.
Yeah, it's similar. It's basically exactly the kind of stuff that we talk about. And that's going to start any minute now. All right, that's something to work with. All right, so...
What?
Okay. No, it's there.
No, because when you're over there, it feels more...
Oh, see, there we go.
What did you call it?
Okay, well, you're saying when I'm sitting over there, it feels more... You were saying it feels more...
Yeah, it feels more...
More, and then you stopped, and I'm like... I said you mean less intimate?
Yeah, but I always have the wrong word, so I'm going to use the word that I think.
Right.
I mean, the word that I think I'm describing, which is organic. Does that apply?
Yeah. For a hipster. So, you're saying that...
No, like, 'cause you hear people talk about, like, having, like, let's say you have, like, some kind of group.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of group where that hangs out together.
So that's no good. My foot just bumped into you.
Whatever kind of group that hangs out together, whether it's, like, some kind of musical group or a religious group or discussion group, I don't know, whatever kind of group. People will describe it as if it flows. I don't want to use the word that you were using before because it doesn't sound right to me.
What, intimate?
No, not that one, but...
What?
Naturally. I like the word, but I don't know.
I said naturally?
Yeah, natural, like it's feels more natural.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't like natural, I don't know, for some reason. Anyway.
Well, I just thought that's where you were going.
No, because organic. Like, you hear a lot of people when they describe something, like a get-together, or I shouldn't say get-together, a group, or whatever, it's like... Is that a wrong interpretation of that?
No, I mean, I think
word?
what you're getting at, right, is that, like, when you come over here, and we're hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just chatting, I'm usually sitting over there, and you're sitting over here.
Right.
But instead, you're sitting in your normal spot, and
Right.
I'm basically right next to you.
And nobody knows that.
Well, they do now.
But, I mean, yeah, so...
Well, okay, well, let's talk about the
But
plan.
we've done this before.
Yeah, sitting
Where
on...
we've just sat, like, across from each other.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Wait, you mean by across from each other, you mean on this couch, you're on the
This side of
south
the couch.
cushion, and I'm on the
Right,
north cushion.
right.
Yeah.
In comparison to you in the corner.
With
In comparison
a
to
hetero cushion in the middle.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
In comparison to me over here and you over on the chair.
Except for that time that I fell asleep, and I was like...
In comparison to you doodling on the computer over there.
Right, which
feels more natural to me.
I guess it's 4 feet away over there.
Well, not only that, because you're usually
And it
like I'm
swivels.
not like we're not like it's weird. It's different because we're not like in a genuinely engaged conversation, I guess. No, that's you. I mean, because usually it's like banter,
Uh-huh.
I guess. So you're sitting over there, I'm over here. I'm usually watching whatever's on TV. You're over there doing whatever it is you do, whatever it is you do over there.
I mean,
and I'm just like shooting things over there at you, and then you reciprocate. Reciprocate, is that another word I use correctly? Or
that's a word you could use. Reply is another
Anyway.
option.
What reciprocate?
I don't know. I mean, I remember there have been times when we've both been sitting here, and we haven't been distracted, and having like deep,
What do you mean haven't been distracted?
like me apparently doodling on the computer.
Well, that's not what I don't mean. Like distracted. I just mean like. I don't mean distract. I don't. Yeah. I don't mean distracted. I just mean like we got like. You're over there doing your thing. I'm over here doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna call it a distraction. Just like two separate. Whatever. Anyway, so I don't call it distraction. It's just like. It's more of
Like we were working on our individual activities together.
Yeah, it's like, so. It's a more normal. I guess kind of banter. I love that word banter. I think I got that from George Costanza, by the way.
Banter?
Yeah, I got no banter anymore. And so I get that. So usually when we're sitting here talking, most of the time, when we do get into like a conversation, it's because it starts from banter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I sit there and I'll bring something up, and all of a sudden it gets into this like, I wouldn't call it heavy duty, but it gets in. Sometimes we do get pretty deep.
I think so, yeah.
So, which is a good thing.
Which is why we thought about doing this in the first place.
Right.
Because we've wasted all those thoughts on just each other.
Exactly. which comes to the thing that reminds me of when we talked about this, and I don't know who said it first. I think it was me. That basically sat there and said, "Wait, you have something to tell me? Stop."
Yeah.
And wait until we record this. Which you replied with, "Yeah, I heard that on Kevin."
Well, I was going to try to avoid mentioning that to to avoid people trying to make the comparison, but I don't know if I should hide from that or not.
Well, it's not a comparison because there's a lot of different.
I mean, I guess they're okay. Fine, yeah. It started occurring to me because I was listening to the Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier podcast,
Right?
And I was like, that seems like a lot of fun. Two friends chatting about stuff,
Right.
And yeah, you had
Again,
said,
I don't know who Scott Mosier is.
He was the producer on their movies. So,
Okay, so
you.
I thought Kevin is. What's Kevin then? Is he the writer?
He's the director and the writer,
Okay.
and Silent
Okay.
Bob.
So Scott was never like in any of it or anything.
He was definitely in Clerks. As a couple little odd characters that showed up for a minute or two.
I could never get into that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just.
I
know a lot of people that really like that show.
Well, I mean, that movie came out in the height of like
was that
all the
80s? Was that 80s or early 90s?
90s.
Early 90s. Late 90s?
Mid 90s, maybe.
I know it's like their first big thing, right? Or his first big thing.
It was his first movie he ever made. As far as I know. I mean, maybe he did some college stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't finish college, I guess. I know way too much about the guy now, actually. It bothers me. But...
Like, stockish?
No, I mean, I just listened to the podcast.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, well, like you said, I mean, a lot... my friend Brian, like, I never even knew of a podcast, I think, until my friend Brian Wozny talked about, like, he would have, like, I don't want to exaggerate, but I'm pretty sure he had plenty of, like he'd have all this, and this was years ago, actually.
Yeah.
Back when, back in college, when he would tell me about all these podcasts that he had, because he's big into sports, so he could have all these guys that had podcasts, and
wow.
I've never listened to them.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, I just don't get how you could have, I guess I don't get how a single person could have a podcast, because I assume it's like Rush Limbaugh, right? Who has a radio show.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, it's like it's a radio show that anybody can make and put out.
Right.
And so if you want to talk by yourself and just talk about stuff for an hour.
Right, which to me is genuinely boring to me. So
I feel like it'd be
because I mean, usually when I hear, because when Brian told me about it, I automatically thought of like Rush Limbaugh, AM radio.
Totally, yeah. I mean, sometimes I don't know.
But some people definitely get into it. Like Tom, I'm sure, loves that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't know that you were gonna go the sports route when you were telling the Brian story just now, right? But I first heard about podcasts it was either Tom or Austin. I want to say it was Tom. Talking about, he's like, yeah, I got all these podcasts lined up, all these sports shows, and I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, what, do they have podcasts about like movies or music or anything interesting? And he's like, I don't know. He probably said yeah, but I'm like, I just had it totally associated with sports, and I don't care about that at all.
Yeah.
Like he starts talking about it for a couple of minutes, and he's really passionate.
This is
about
Tom
it.
or Austin?
Tom, yeah, yeah, and I don't care. Austin knows better. He'll like, he's like, he's not gonna waste his precious breath on that, you know. Because you know how he is.
I don't actually.
That's right, because
yeah, I hate everybody.
What? Wait, him?
No, I was just.
Or
I was,
you
I,
hate
I
everybody?
was being facetious.
Yeah.
Is that a word that's applicable?
Yeah.
I always because I have all these words that I always sometimes
Those
use.
words
and
floating around in my brain. I don't know
no,
where they
serious, 'cause
they just come out. I don't know.
I hear them sometimes on TV, and I'm like, wait a second, and I use them, and then people, I don't, it's like that.
Princess Bride.
Yeah, Prince Bride. You keep
Inconceivable.
using that word. I don't think that means what you think it means.
Yeah. For the record, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm going to be sniffing a lot.
Yeah.
Just, that's all it is.
Okay.
I don't want it to be a thing, whatever.
But I'm a Facebook junkie.
Yeah. Is that why you're on Facebook right now?
Yeah, I always have to pull out my iPod, and I've already told you this. Well, maybe not. Anyway, but I'm always on Facebook. And I'm always looking up like what people say, and I feel horrible sometimes because like there's certain people on here. Well, there's certain names. There's certain names.
Yeah.
There's certain names. No, like I'll be scrolling through, and there's certain names, and I'm like, eh. And I'll stop at another one, and I'll see another one. I'm like, I don't need to read that one.
You see, you like.
And then there's someone's like, you know what? Stop. Just stop putting stuff on Facebook.
Wait, I wrote. Hold on, let me find this. I was really irritated one night, but I was nowhere near the internet, and I was like thinking about these posts I had read earlier, and like it bothered me this much that like 3 hours later, I'm still like thinking about it. Because there's like a couple of people, that I know that are constantly. I know if I start reading what they write, then I'm going to get irritated.
Right.
At least.
Mm-hmm.
And
I totally agree.
Yeah. So let's see.
Like there's people on here to actually put really, really cool stuff and interesting stuff, and they share a lot of cool stuff or whatever like that. And then there's people on here that put stuff, and it's like they share the pictures. What is it? Pinterest?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Whatever. And it's like but they'll share like 10 of them, and they're bored. I get it, they're bored.
Yeah.
But they share everything, so.
Yeah, you gotta pick the best one and post that one.
But the thing is, it comes out like it's on my news feed, so it's like okay, and because they keep putting one after, and some of them are very cool, and I get they're bored.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool, and then some people I can put up with because I know some people, I guess like better than others on Facebook.
Maybe you like their taste better.
Oh, I like them better. I like their personality better.
Yeah.
But there's
so they need like a filter.
But there's some people that are on Facebook that it's like one of my I have pet peeves, and I hate this about myself. I shouldn't say hate about myself. I do hate about myself.
You say that a lot.
Well, I do because I hate that I hate.
and then hating hate.
Exactly.
Even that you hate that, you hate the hate.
Right. It's a
and then you hate that you hate that hate.
It's a vicious cycle. But like people that okay, I want a profile picture, okay? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go stand in the mirror and take a picture of myself. I'm not gonna take my iPhone or a camera and turn it around, or hey buddy, you want to do me a favor? Can you take a picture of me so I can have a new profile picture?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to stand in front of a mirror and take a picture of myself with the camera in front of my face, and then post it.
Yeah, I know exactly what. I mean, look, if you're like 15 years old or whatever, I'll give you.
I'm pretty sure I have no 15-year-olds on my Facebook, so
well,
that's out the door.
I mean, you're actually not. As far as I know, there's only you're supposed to have to be like 18 to even have an account, which
A
obviously,
Facebook, yeah.
obviously that's not.
I heard I'm sorry, were you on?
No, it was enforced.
Wozny was telling me that MySpace is on its way back up.
Really?
They like revamped themselves.
I mean, I haven't looked in a while.
Yeah,
I never liked it in the first place.
I didn't. Well, I remember when it first came out. It was a legit site for bands. That's what it was for. It was for bands, right?
I mean,
trying to get their music out. And
I don't know if that's what it was for originally, but there's a lot of that. There's
I thought that. Well, that's what I.
And movies started.
Right, because my friend Jim, he's the one that first told me about it. He said it was basically a way of networking with other bands and just getting your music out there in general, like you do now, and like most of the people do. I would say on YouTube now. That's a YouTube thing. You just record yourself, put it on YouTube, and you get discovered. Whatever.
Right, because then you tweet the link to the YouTube thing, and then that's...
I hate tweet. I really do. I hate it.
I'm not a fan.
What is a hash mark?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Is that like a link to tweet?
The pound symbol.
Is that a link to like Twitter?
Well, if you're on Twitter,
right,
and you're like, I just...
No. But I see people on Facebook, and they'll do that hash mark.
I think maybe those are either, because there's definitely times, right, where it's like, it'll tell you it's reposted from Twitter, like their accounts are linked or whatever. So if they put it on Twitter, it shows up on Facebook. And
well, no, that I've seen where I've seen that where it's like been a bird.
Right. Yeah.
But this is like literally like a tagline.
That's people who, from what I can tell, they just want us to know that they also use Twitter or something. So. Or they're like, oh, well, I mean, because it's not appropriate anywhere else. You throw it up on Facebook, like if you throw it up on Twitter, right, you put the hashtag on, somebody can click on that, and it'll show any posts related to that hashtag. Any posts where somebody used that hashtag. Like, hashtag, whatever, and it'll take them, everybody else who posted about their giant crap is going to show up as well, right?
Okay, I'm still lost, I guess, because what I see is people, like, put... blah 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 blah, and then they'll put almost like instead of a headline, they'll put a tagline with the hash mark in front of it, and it's and it's not like I don't know, maybe I'm still pretty ignorant as far as.
Well, here, all right, let me try to explain again. All right, like when we go over to Austin's and play poker, right?
All right.
We started doing we started tweeting about our game while we're all sitting there, right?
You have a Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I started it once. Put a post up, realized I didn't like it. I didn't use it for like 6 years, or I don't even know how long it's been around.
That's what I do in MySpace.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Okay, yeah, whatever. My MySpace account was dormant for a long time until I started posting music under a different name, and then I found better things to do because they limited you at the time anyway. So we're at Austin's playing poker, which started out as, when we started doing the tweets there, it was just kind of funny. And we probably would have stopped doing it, and then Shannon got really annoyed by it.
Because you stopped, or because you...
Because we were all, like, tweeting about the game while we were sitting there. And so he pretty much solidified...
Shannon knows that?
Yeah, sometimes.
I didn't know he was around here.
I don't know where he lives. I think he lives in Lansing now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But he basically, it upset him so much that we pretty much had to keep doing it.
Oh,
so,
okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, we'll be like, like Austin will write something like, Dan Harris plays horrible cards again to win the pot, and hashtag long poker. And so, if we were all looking at that on Twitter, or somebody saw hashtag long poker, his last name's Long, and they clicked on that, it would take them to, it would pull up all the other tweets that had that hashtag in it.
Oh,
right?
Okay, I got you. So, yeah, all right.
So now, if you did that on Facebook, though, if you posted that directly to Facebook and threw a hashtag on, then I think you're just being some kind of pretentious. I'm not sure what kind exactly, but you're like, oh, guess what? I don't know. It's idiotic to me. It doesn't have any... There's no... it's not such a. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. But okay, so what I wanted to. I'm going to read this thing here, right? I was going to post this on Facebook and decided not to. That night I was angry from annoying posts. I wrote this 335 days ago, according to my little thing here.
That looks big.
It's not too big.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I'm sick of these posts from life drama enthusiasts talking about some hot button issue they're for or against. It's always some new way to look at it, and all it does is get all the other people who crave drama riled up. You can't reach anyone in this manner. It's not the way to do it. Whatever your point, after you've made it once, we all get it. In the old days, we called these people trolls, and their actions were discouraged.
Are you sure you didn't post that?
I definitely...
That sounds very familiar.
Maybe I did. Does it?
Maybe you ran it by me. I don't know.
Maybe I did post it. I didn't remember.
Maybe you might have ran it by me.
I was probably still
familiar.
pissed off, and I wrote about it. I was like, look at this. Yeah,
that sounds pretty familiar. Yeah, every day, pretty much every day. And I go on, and like I said, I read stuff by people, and it's just like, you know what? Why? Some of it is just because I like. I don't mind hearing like something cool you did.
yeah.
You know, and I don't want to sound like a jerk.
Do you have an example?
But I'm gonna.
You gonna read something? Do you have one right there?
I don't have one on cue.
Well, maybe you should. You know.
No, but I mean, what I mean is like, you know, you got people on here that put, you know, just cool stuff like basic, like a one-liner, like, hey, going down to what do you call it? Silver Bells, heading out to Silver Bells with the friends or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool with me. Or
well, the point of that too is they're basically inviting anybody, and hopefully they get a surprise visitor.
Right.
In my opinion, I think.
Here's one that's might piss people off, but this has been a thing of mine, is when people write stuff such as, "Dear God, first of all, I don't think God needs to read your Facebook." Okay, so that bothers me. So I sit there and say, "Hey."
Did you check their friends list? Is he on there though? Maybe you wouldn't even see it.
Actually, he might be. Well, people sit there and, you know, like, you know, I'm sure. I'd rather. Can you just please say, "Hey, friends, yada yada yada. I'm going through this. Would you pray for me?" Instead of sitting there using, God as like this. And I know what they're doing. I know they're sitting there saying, you know, I need this prayer or whatever. But don't. That bothers me, I guess.
I get it.
You know, so.
It's weird.
Or the people that say, here's another one. This annoys me so much. Dear lady at the red light, thank you so much for cutting me off. It's like, really? Isn't that annoying? Does that not annoy you?
I always just think like,
hey, instead of, how about writing, hey, I got a story. This freaking lady at a red light ran me off the road. This lady at the red light does not have your Facebook. I'll guarantee it.
Yeah. There's the occasional "dear so and so, you screwed me over" that is funny. I have seen something like that, right? And I'm like, so you're sitting in your car right now.
I have one particular one on my Facebook that does that all the time. All the time.
Who is it? Don't. Just whisper.
Actually, there's a couple.
Just don't tell me.
I'll tell you.
Just tell me.
You don't know her.
All right. Do I know the other one?
No.
Well, why are you?
I'm just saying because.
Okay. All right. No, that's cool. All right.
Like, yeah, like or this one, dear tire. Thank you for going flat on me on the side of the road. This is not a lie. This is for real. Well, it's not for real. It's
for real.
No, it's. She didn't say dear tire. She said something such as. In that.
Okay.
Something like that, like, you know, dear table. What's dear inanimate object.
Thanks for tripping me and making me hit my face on the floor.
Can't you just sit there and say, I woke up in the middle of the night and I fell over the table? You know, it's okay. Everybody does it.
Do they? I've never fallen over a table.
Well, things happen. I mean,
You fall over
I'm
this
just
table?
saying. Oh, stub your toe on the table. It's been done by many others. It's
Yeah.
not the table's fault.
Well, no, it's your fault.
But for you to sit there and say, "Dear table,"
And you know that table is never going to check Facebook.
that's right.
And it's going to be like, oh my gosh,
I'm so sorry.
The table writes on its Facebook, it's like, dear Sarah, I saw you coming and I was like, boy, I should move. And I didn't, and I'm really very, very sorry. Because I knew that was about to happen, and...
Or remember that other night when you
I just feel like such a
Remember
dick.
that other night when you slammed that drink down on my table? Well,
I was a little angry.
This is what you get.
I was sort of upset about that because you didn't consider my feelings.
That's right.
And when you were walking towards me, I sort of inched a little bit closer to ensure that your toe would hit my leg.
They are called legs.
And I knew it would hurt you a lot more than it would hurt me. And it was out of spite, and so I'm sorry. And you're welcome. What, Oh yeah, okay, so right. We were talking about doing this maybe over a month ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you were talking about how you've had things that you wanted to say that you haven't shared. And that's when we brought up where... Because you separately from me kind of had the idea of maybe doing something like this too a little bit, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was starting to occur to you.
Mm-hmm.
Around the same time it was occurring to me. Excuse me. And then we talked about it one night, and we were like, totally, we got to do it. And then we're going to do... I'm like, yeah, we just need another microphone because I just have one. And we'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe this won't work, but I mean, for now I think it'll work fine. But and then I remember I was listening to the Smodcast, right, and they were talking about how they never wanted to tell each other stories, and I did not mention this to you. Like they were like when they're by themselves.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I did not mention this to you, and then I was talking to you, and you're like, yeah. Like I had this great story, and I want to hold on to it.
That's right.
And I just thought I was like, that's interesting. Yeah. Like this is very much like, and it made me appreciate the fact that they went through that same thing.
I don't think there's anything wrong with.
Well, like, all right, what, being compared if that happens? Or what?
I'm sure they're not the only one out there.
I'm sure they're not, but I don't know of any other ones. So, and I'm sensitive because of the video me and Sergio made about For the Love of Comics.
Oh,
thing,
right, yeah.
Because the only comment that we got on the whole thing that came from a stranger said, stupid Kevin Smith ripoff. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, like, that was not even what we were doing.
I still sit there and even, like, I think about that because I see stuff, and it makes me wonder if certain places ripped, certain people ripped you off, yeah. Like,
people ripped me off?
Well, the concept anyway, because like, have you seen? There's a show on Netflix. I never watched it, but the title or whatever, it's like Comic Men or Super Comic Men or whatever. Well, have you seen that?
Comic Book Men? That's Kevin Smith's show.
Oh, is it really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
So everything I do, apparently, no, okay.
So that's been around for a while then?
I think it started at the same time as... Maybe it started with the second season of Walking Dead, because I think it airs after Walking Dead.
Well, you were before that then.
Well, yeah, totally, but it's completely different concepts.
Right. So, but how can they say you ripped them off when you were actually before?
Well, they were basically saying that we ripped off Clerks.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like Clerks was, or like our show was, like they were the first, like any of us thought they were the first things about people who work in a store, you know?
Oh, gotcha.
Like that's the only similarity. Otherwise, okay, and the no budget whatsoever was the other similarity. So I'm probably a little oversensitive about the idea of, I just don't want everybody to think that anything that, I don't want people thinking that I'm ripping stuff off people, right? Like, look, doing a Smodcast with you, or, doing the Smodcast with his buddy, right? Mm-hmm. It's a good idea. It sounds like fun, right? I guarantee there were other people making podcasts talking about whatever's on their minds before that. Well, it had to be. Right?
Yeah, well, not only that, like I said before, the whole, like, thing I was talking about before, the whole Rush Limbaugh thing.
I mean, that's, yeah, I mean,
no.
He's topical, though.
What?
He's topical, though.
No, because there's, like, people like from our area, what's his face? Deborah Hart and Joey Pants. From, you know what I mean? They sit there and they're not very topical. They just, whatever comes on their mind, they start talking about.
Yeah, read the news or whatever.
Right, and then they'll have a topic, basically.
Yeah.
And we have everybody has it. You have to have a topic.
Right.
I don't care where you are.
Okay,
you're doing, there's a topic.
When I said topical, I just mean like the sports ones or sports centric. He's politics or something.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good point though. Yeah. For all of our lives, there've been radio shows and get rid of the stupid. Hey, how's everybody? Get rid of those people. And the regular morning
Johnny Carson and McMahon.
All right, there you go.
There's always banter.
Fine. So thank you. Right. That's what I'm just saying. I just you know,
like
it's this one comment from one stranger on YouTube, right?
And this is something
that's done this to me.
This is something I hate to say because I still don't know where I stand on it. As far as
no, I'm sorry I saw the movie. It did not really influence what I did here, though.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if it really comes down to it, no matter, let's call it what's the word I'm looking for?
I have no idea. I'm sure it's a good one, though.
I hate it. And you know I do this all the time. I always have a word and I can't figure. Who would I?
I mean, it happens to me.
Philosophy. Falafel. No matter what you do throughout life, you're always influenced by something else.
Right.
So for there to be something totally original, is very far fetched.
Right.
Which, on the other hand, bothers me because I always talk about how in art today, I shouldn't use art in general, but in the art that I like, which are movies and TV and music, there's hardly anything original anymore. You know what I mean? But which just contradicts what I just said.
Does it?
Because I just said there's no way you can be original because everything you do...
But you hate that nothing is original.
Right. Everything you do, you can't be original because somehow you were influenced. Yet I hate that there's nothing original.
Yeah.
But I think I mean that... I mean that in a broader...
Yeah, obviously. Because we'll take, for example, like... because a lot of, I think the really good writers on, say, TV now, right?
Right.
Are the ones who are... They're pushing... They're trying to push past the... repeating everything, right?
Right.
So you end up with a show that, though heavy with references and things like that, is very original, even though it is basically using formats that we've all seen before, which would be like Arrested Development.
Right.
Right? It's a mockumentary, not new.
Right.
It's has just all kinds of crazy references everywhere.
Right.
But it's dysfunctional family,
That's a big
whatever.
One. That's a big one.
We've seen all these things, but never delivered the same way, and so that's
right.
But I mean, I mean, look, art. The very first piece of art ever created wasn't straight out of somebody's brain, right?
Yeah.
And you take like the guys
and
like
it never even been seen before. No one's ever obviously seen it.
Well, somebody did, but they died.
Exactly. It's not documented.
Right, most likely.
And it's all relative on what you consider art.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, I think so.
Seriously, because you look at people like, anything. Like you take a picture.
Like looking around the room to find.
Yeah, I'm just looking for. Yeah. I mean, you just look at it like that. That's some people look at that. So that's a cool picture.
What?
the Beatles. The
Yeah,
Beatles
that
picture.
Abbey Road thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody look at it, that's a cool picture. Another, but I look at it and that's very artistic. The
Yeah.
way they did it, the way they, you know what I mean? Everything.
Totally.
The you know what I mean?
Where are his shoes?
Hmm?
Where are his shoes?
Exactly. Exactly. Why is one? Yeah. Why is one stride different than the other?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you get. I mean, yeah, it's all perception.
You could find a couple of bozos out there that could spend like 8 hours talking about
perception. It's all about perception. You can look at a guitar and say, "Wow, man, that's a cool instrument," or you can look and say, "Wow, what a work of art that is."
that. Yeah.
Because there's some instruments out there that are the way they're made are.
Totally. I mean, I don't own any of those, but maybe that one. No.
Is it?
What?
Not the electric?
Yeah. Les Paul.
Yeah. That's not Les Paul.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not Les Paul.
Yes, it is.
What is it?
It's a Les Paul.
Les Paul what?
It's a S something. Yeah. All right.
I don't know. It's a. I didn't know. Is that really a Les Paul?
It's
an Esquire.
no, it's not. It's an Epiphone.
Epiphone.
Which
That's what I meant.
yeah, it's the Gibson cheaper imprint, but it's still yeah, it's just a Les Paul special.
Hmm.
Maybe there's an S in there somewhere.
Interesting.
So, see, look right here. Look at that. See what it says there? What does that say?
Gibson.
Yeah, that's right. Which guitar is not a Les Paul now?
But you get people out there.
But I mean, he made that way.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
The neck, yeah. The
The body style, all that, like he
what do you
took
call it? What's the top? You call that
the stock, headstock.
the headstock. That's yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much of it or whatever existed before and how much didn't or whatever, but I think maybe he might have been more. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about here, actually. So maybe he just really liked that one, and so I don't know.
But
That was a horrible example. Potentially, it was either a great example or not an example at all.
But as far as stuff like TV shows, I think is a very that's a tough one for me. Because there's so many out there that copy. To me, it just seems like copy. They copy everybody else's, but there's so many out there that once one like there's it's one of those. It's like a one-hit wonder, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Generally,
Wait, like I don't know what you're saying.
like you have all these TV shows that have been thrown out there that are so similar.
Yeah.
And then, but boom, one just has that certain thing to it.
Yeah, the one that people are like, oh, we love this, and
Yeah.
we're gonna keep watching it.
Whether they suck or not.
Right.
Saved by the Bell. The thing's been on for how many years? And it's still one of the biggest
Is it? I mean, it's not on anymore.
in reruns,
Yeah.
syndication. And it's so horrible.
Yeah. I mean, look, when
And
you were.
there's no artistic. I don't see any kind of art in that whatsoever.
I mean, it's a kids show for one thing.
But you know, a lot of the people that are watching it today are
Yeah,
people that are my. I mean, there's. I
Yeah,
love that show. I mean,
Yeah,
so-
they were kids when it was on. That's nostalgia at that point.
Well, there's a lot of shows that were on back in the day when I was a kid, and I look at it now and I'm like, I cannot believe. I loved it back. I loved it back then. Seriously,
Yeah.
loved it back then. I try and watch it now. And I'm like, I cannot believe, and I'm disappointed, horribly disappointed that I don't love it like I did back then.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of, like, there's movies and music and all kinds of things that I loved when I was little that,
Welcome Back, Kotter.
yeah.
Loved that show when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my friend were watching it. It was on like whatever
Like at night or something?
like late night, whatever. And it came on, and I mean that's like when John Travolta first got his. That's basically his start. And it came on. I'm like, welcome back, Connor, man. You gotta watch this show with me. And he's like, all right, cool. Sat down and started watching. He was totally into it.
Really?
And I was like, this sucks.
That is not the
And I love
story
it.
I thought you
And
were
I
about to
love
tell.
the show. I love that show.
Uh-huh.
Seriously, I still love it now, but I cannot I cannot sit down. I could not sit down and watch because it's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible act. Horrible act. Have you ever seen it?
No, the title didn't impress me at all as a 10-year-old the first time.
It's basically Gabe Kaplan. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a comedian.
Yeah. Is he Cotter?
Yeah.
That's a person, right? It's not like a dog.
He's a teacher.
Yeah.
And he's in this, basically...
He had the goatee. It's kind of
no,
bald.
just a mustache. Curly hair. And, but he was basically and now that I think about it, just now, I'm realizing that they redid it. Anyway, and I'll tell you about it in a second.
Okay.
Basically, it was him, and he had a class full of basically the degenerates of the school, the less
Like freaks.
not I wouldn't call not well yeah okay we can call it that, the freaks, or the just the
Losers.
yeah, like, you know, the basic, like, not as smart or criminal type and blah 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 blah, that sort of thing. You know, had the whole stereotype of that in the classroom.
They meant like a mobile.
No, it was in the high school, but
Huh.
it was everybody. You know, it's like the all the kids that got detention every day or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of that, we're gonna put him in his class.
They're like, these kids are always together anyway.
So he went there and he was the teacher, but he didn't. He taught them in a way that they really liked him and stuff like that. And he really taught them and got involved in their lives and stuff like that. And it was a good concept, and I loved it back when I watched it.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if you recall. Do you remember the is it head of the class?
I remember something like that, yeah.
All right, the guy from I forgot his name, but WKR in Cincinnati. Remember that show? WKRP in Cincinnati.
I never really watched it, actually.
Anyway,
I heard it's good, though. Is that good?
It was a good show.
All right. Still
Was
good
this-
today?
Yes. This actually I can't say that.
Maybe.
I haven't seen it.
All right.
It could be. Anyway, the guy from WKRP in Cincinnati was in this show. It was called.
I think that's the guy I was
He was-
picturing, actually. When
He was the teacher in this other show called Head of the Class, where it was basically all the.
he was on Welcome Back, Cotter?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying this is
He was
like,
on WKRP, and
Yeah,
yeah, right,
it was.
right.
What I'm saying is like it was like a revamp of Welcome Back, Kotter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how I'm saying how they like.
This is what I thought you were saying, but then I thought you were going away from that. But yeah,
Anyway, so
it's
it was
a similar concept, is what
It was
you're
all the
saying.
misfits in school, but basically they did it opposite. Instead of all the kids being the dumbest, it was the smartest kids in the school
Okay.
were in his class.
That seems infinitely less interesting, by the way.
It was actually better.
Really?
Yeah, it was because it was more because it was a different concept. Like you had all the kids that were like street smarts,
Yeah.
rather than book smarts in the Welcome Back Kotter, to the kids that were book smarts but had no street smarts. So they were basically sheltered kids who had no clue of the world.
Yeah.
All they knew were
Classrooms and books and
right
learning.
academics. That's all they had.
Yeah.
That's all they had were academics. So you had a guy who was very smart but very humble, very a street kind of guy, who not only knew academics but also taught them life outside of the classroom.
He was the teacher.
Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, okay.
So, like I'm saying, how things like
Repeat themselves?
repeat themselves. Not always in the same way, but sometimes, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just like musically. Musically, what's left?
Nothing, apparently.
Right.
Well, I shouldn't say that, but just about.
Music's, it's all coming back around. I
Yeah.
mean, 60s and 70s will never go away because it was so brilliant, the music.
Yeah.
And everything, going back to what I said before, any musician you hear or talk to now, if they say they haven't been influenced by 60s or 70s music, they're lying. Or they don't realize it.
Or you listen to their music and realize, nope, they're not. This is horrible.
They've been sheltered.
Yep. Wow, they listen to the 80s and nothing else.
Unless you have a kid that's very sheltered and grew up in a home, not saying there's anything wrong with that, but grew up in a home where they were succumbed to Mozart and Bach.
Succumbed to?
That's the only word I can come up with. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, actually, at first I wasn't even thinking that it's completely not the word you want to use, but, like that would be torture, basically.
All right, surrounded by
I
only
don't know.
Mozart, Beethoven, Bach.
There's something to be said for that, though.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
All right, you know Joy,
I'm not
right?
saying there's anything wrong with that. What I'm saying is...
Well, I'm going to tell you something that I was really impressed by recently.
Because that's timeless. And
Yeah.
even then...
That music influenced people that we
Even
enjoy.
then, you could not hear a, say like an Eddie Van Halen, and say he was not influenced by classical music.
You know who really loved classical
No way.
music? Paul McCartney.
Yeah, see?
All right, but yeah, you know Joy, right?
Right.
All right. So I was over at her and her husband's house the other day. It turns out...
I never got invited over there.
Oh, I just dropped by. No.
She's still over
I don't know. You know where she lived? I don't know. Whatever, yeah. Yeah, same place she's lived for a long time. Before she got married, they moved into there.
in her house.
Yeah.
Okay, with the rabbits.
Yeah, you were there before, though.
Yeah.
Well, what are you complaining about?
I done clog her drain many times.
Have you? I've only been there twice now.
She has the best no bakes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw rabbit hair. No, just kidding. That's not true. No, but I was over there, and he's got like a wall in this one room. It's just CDs, and it's all classical music.
Really?
And that's what he prefers to listen to.
Wow.
And honestly, I mean, I was pretty impressed because I'm like, there's a lot of great. I know there is like years worth. Like, if you played it end to end, years worth of
easy, yeah.
brilliant music that I have never heard. And the odds are that I will be too lazy to ever find it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have no.
there's
Yeah,
a lot of them.
This is one of my things for me anyway. That I have no problem admitting, but I am sad to say that I'm very ignorant when it comes to classical music. Because I'd love to get it because some of that stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
But I can name maybe 5, but 3, like the ones I keep naming over and over: Bach, Beethoven,
You said Mozart earlier.
Mozart. Yeah, I mean, but there's so many more than that are brilliant. I'm sure I've heard them, but those are the ones that stick in my mind.
Did you say Brahms?
I didn't say anything.
Tchaikovsky? You would recognize some of that music from
I wouldn't
Fantasia?
recognize it. I mean, I would.
You'd
Would I-
recognize it, you know? Do 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 do.
Rachmaninoff, I know that from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Do you?
Yeah, it's the key to open the door.
Music?
It's the key to open the door.
Did he say it was Rachmaninoff?
No, the lady did. When he opened the door, she's like, Rachmaninoff.
Ah. And then he fell into the room.
That's right.
Well, look, I mean, honestly, most of my classical music knowledge comes from old Looney Tunes cartoons, so. Like I was talking about the other day, I was talking to somebody about, like, if I ever owned a factory of any kind that had an automated process building something, I would just pipe in this music, like the whole time. Like, dun 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 dun. You know that?
What's that from?
Right.
It sounds familiar.
It's from every animated factory scene I've ever seen.
Huh.
And I'm like, I would definitely have that playing. Yeah. So. What?
I was just looking if that picked it up. Welcome to the party, pal.
No, it's. So, Anyway, though, I want to talk about our adventure today.
Oh, tonight's adventure.
Yeah. Do you remember tonight's adventure?
The blackout.
The blackout. The omen. The good omen, I think. I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh,
Well, here we were. We had this decision that we had made. I did anyway. I decided that tonight the Dan and Dave mindset was going to happen. One way or another, right? As evidenced by the fact that it's happening right now, despite the fact that we accomplished none of our goals.
when did you decide that?
In my mind, I think, earlier.
Okay.
When we were... so, I live in about, what is this, 400 square feet?
Well, wait, because I recall me saying we could do this with a lapel mic.
Yeah, and I didn't like the
Weeks
idea.
ago.
Yeah, well, I wanted it...
But to go, but to support your thing, we actually went into Meyer
And looked, yeah.
to look for a lapel mic
And they don't have them.
after the adventure began.
True, yes.
Yeah.
The mood lighting adventure.
Exactly.
Or blackout.
Right. Brownout.
I'd
That
call
sounds-
it's totally a blackout.
Brownout sounds dirty. I don't like it.
So, what happened was... what is this? This is about, what, 400 square feet?
This room?
Yeah, you call it... Not this room, this whole apartment. Maybe?
I don't know.
It's between 300 and 400 square feet. It's very small.
Yeah. Can we just say that?
Yeah, well, I already did.
It's a small area.
Okay, so within this area is about 6 months worth of various depositable bottles. Anything from root beer to other root beer. And
Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew,
Diet Mountain Dew.
Diet Mountain Dew. Options, basically, is what we
Right.
fed to this little machine, right? So we go, we gather them up, head to the new Meyer bottle return area, which is this little separate room.
Very nice.
It's very nice. They have a sink.
In comparison to where it used to be.
It used to be you'd walk through the whole store to
Way in
get to the back to deposit your bottles.
Like the one on the west side still is.
Yeah, really? Okay, so that's no good.
Yeah, they're not going to update that.
Nah. No, okay, fine. So,
It's not as big as this one.
okay. I don't care that much about that, but
I'm just letting you know. Well, this is your store, that's my store.
I'm sorry, I don't care about your
Hey,
store.
Go ahead.
That used to be my store. It was my store before it was your store.
When?
When
When have you ever shopped on the west side?
When I lived over there.
When did you live on the west side?
For a year when I went to Great Lakes.
That doesn't count.
I bought many a fish and many a Star Wars action figure there, sir.
Anyway.
And my roommate Jason and I thought it was really funny to pull a bunch of things off the shelf and put them below their hooks. In retrospect, it was a terrible thing.
What do you mean, below their hooks?
Well, we'd pull a whole row of stuff down and then stack it below where it was on the the lowest shelf area. Because, there's always a long shelf that runs under all the hooks, right?
Right.
So we'd take a whole row down and then lay it down on that little bottom shelf. And leaving the hooks empty.
Huh. Well,
Yes.
you're giving the employees job security is what you're doing.
Yeah,
That's-
we're like...
So that's cool.
So actually we were doing
That's right.
a civil service.
That's right. You're doing your part.
Yeah, it's terrible. It seemed hilarious at the time. I'm a little
Sure
embarrassed
did.
about it now.
Are you? I don't think you are.
I am a little bit.
Because you have a very big smile on your face as you're telling this story.
But if I was a lighter skinned person, you would also see that I was blushing a little bit. It's not true. I don't blush at all.
Just as when I was at Great Lakes and you had already left
Uh-huh.
and asked me if you could come into my friend's room and turn everything upside down. Do you recall this?
Yeah. That was me and Justin came up with that.
Yeah, but it was you that did it.
Did I? Did you let me do it?
Yeah, it was. We did it in.
And
Larry.
you did it with me,
We
right?
did it in Larry's room.
You did it too?
Did I? No, I did not.
You just
I was
watched?
not, I was not involved in that situation.
Wow. So you just totally threw me under the bus there. Okay, so okay, we'll come back to the blackout adventure in a minute. What
Wait, what?
what first happened? My freshman year. Is me and I had two roommates, Justin and Mike. And you know Mike.
Justin Mays?
Yeah.
Okay,
You know Justin?
Yeah.
All right. So he was a junior. Both Mike and he were juniors, and I didn't. Fabian.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard of him.
Really? Okay. That's one
Is
I figured you would
Justin
know.
Mays the bald guy? Is he bald now?
No. I don't think so. He has really short hair now.
All right, forget it then.
He's maybe receding a little bit. I don't know. I wouldn't call him bald. I wouldn't say he has lustrous, locks or whatever either, but he was,
Wait,
what? Oh my gosh.
here's my point as far as a
I know who it is already.
taking your picture in the mirror. Come on.
Who the... Nice mustache.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
And the thing is, I love this guy. I love him. He's a great guy. He's hilarious, and I'm gonna pick on him so much next time I see him for putting that picture up.
All right. You want to call him out on the show here now?
No,
Why not?
because
It's too big at that point.
Huh?
I mean, fewer people will probably...
he's a friend of mine, but I'm not. I'm not.
You're not gonna bust his chops on Facebook either, then, huh?
No,
Just in person.
No,
okay.
no. He doesn't deserve that.
Okay, well that's fine.
He's not a jerk.
Because I was like, way fewer people are gonna hear it here than
Yeah, well,
than if you wrote it there. But okay, if you're not gonna do that.
actually,
So-
I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna text him right now as we're talking.
Okay, so you're not gonna listen to the story.
So.
Probably.
I'm listening.
No, that's fine. I'll just wait.
Go ahead.
All right, so we're I didn't pick when you signed up to go to Great Lakes, there's no they have a spot where you can request a roommate or whatever, right? And I didn't really know who all was going to be there or whatever, and I was just going to go for luck of the draw and just hope I got a good roommate, which in retrospect I would never do now. But I just figured it would work out, right? So, what happened was there were two rooms left, because it was usually 3 people in a room, and there were 2 dorm rooms left that had 1 slot each open. Justin and Mike were in one, and then these 2, sophomores were in another, right? And there was another guy who had just put whoever, he didn't care. All right, and so I think Justin approached me and he's like, "Hey, do you have a room picked out yet?" And I'm like, "No," and I'm like, "You want to be mine and Mike's roommate?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure, yeah."
You knew him or you didn't?
Yeah, I knew Justin from we grew up together.
Okay.
Went to church together in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
I'd known him all along, and I knew Mike because he had been my older brother Andy's roommate. Yeah, so I was gonna be, so I was like, oh, cool, that'd be awesome. I come to find out, a couple weeks later, there was this really really weird guy that showed up. I don't know, whatever. He was pretty weird, and he was coming to school or whatever. He was the other guy who didn't have a roommate picked yet, right? Mm-hmm. And so it turns out Justin only approached me because he had seen that guy and was told that guy might be their new roommate.
He didn't want to be alone.
And he didn't want to be roommates with that guy, so he came and found me. And I thought he was just out of friendship, thought it'd be fun to be roommates, even though we didn't hang out that much before then, but we did hang out once in a while, but it just seemed like, oh, okay. So anyway, it ended up working out well. Justin and I got along really well, and Mike was always naked, so we avoided him. That's not true, but he was naked a lot. And I don't know why. And our requests for him to put pants on more often were ignored. So, at least just underpants, at least. anything.
Right.
You know,
A
just
leaf.
a leaf.
A leaf, something.
Now his choice was to walk around holding his hands over himself, as opposed to just finding an article of clothing to put on. So anyway, I don't know. We the guys that lived in the room right next to ours were some guys I went to high school with, and they were in this band or whatever, and they had gone. It's like the one time they ever, as far as I know, the one time they ever went and recorded somewhere like a real studio or whatever. I don't even know, but so we knew they were going to be gone for a while, and we got this idea to go in and mess with them a little bit. So we walk in to their room, and Justin's old prank that he had done for a couple of years was, because every room had their own water heater, so he would go in and turn the hot water off, so they would just have cold water. And
But how'd you get it? Who had a key?
oh, they didn't have it locked, or it was one of those. There were a lot of doors that if you turn the handle a little bit, applied a little force with your shoulder.
No. To the water heater room.
Well, they're in each room in a little closet.
In a closet. Oh.
None of them are locked as far as I know.
Yeah, now they're
all locked now?
Yeah, they're all locked. Okay.
Oh, probably because people kept turning their hot water off.
Yeah, now it's deadbolt. Yeah, they're all deadbolted.
Yeah, really? Okay. Yeah, that was not the case at the time. They were all freely accessible. Like, I was in the shower once. While I was in the shower, he turned the hot water off on me. I was a little pissed about that. So we're looking around. We're like, all right, well, they're not going to be here for a little bit. What can we do? And then we realized it just seemed... I was like, dude, let's turn... Or maybe I just walked over to something, like, and it was just like, whoop, and turn it upside down. And then, we were like, this is great. So we went around, and, like, 90% of the items in that dorm room, and they were big dorm rooms, really, for dorms.
Yeah, they're apartments.
They're apartments, basically.
Yeah.
You got a separate bathroom, a separate bedroom, and you have a living space, which is about the size of my living space that I pay to live monthly now, sort of.
All right.
I mean, I guess you paid for it then, too, but whatever. So we turned their TV upside down. We, they had an N64, okay? They had one of the controllers that was already upside down. We turned that right side up. We turned the other ones upside down. We turned their dresser upside down.
So you reversed everything.
We reversed everything. They had posters. We flipped them around.
Nice.
We did the couch, did mattresses, and then we're like, okay, cool. We got to turn. And then there were breakers in all the rooms too, and so we turned all the power off. And then we're walking out. And one of them opens the door and catches us. And we're like, and he's like, what's going on? And we're like, dude, we heard noise over here. And we came over and the lights don't work. And we don't know what's going on. And,
nice.
Yeah, one of them walked in, saw the room, and he, like, just walked away. And we didn't see him again for the rest of the night. So then we ended up having to help them. So that was a bit of a failure, but we were, we had a great time.
Yeah, the one with... I mean, because I remember you telling me the story, and I remember us going. That's when I was roommates with Nick.
Uh-huh.
And I remember you telling me the story, and I think I had
You had a key, right?
a key to Larry's room or something.
He was down the bottom right.
He was
right?
down the bottom. Yeah, it was him. Yeah. So I was like, you had the idea of doing it. I was like, no, I can't do it. So did you come back with somebody and do it? Because I remember going in the next day with Larry, and Larry's like, what the heck? And everything was, all the drawers were upside down. And
What year would that have been? Like 03, 04? I know there was a night Justin and I were...
Wait, what year is it now?
2012.
Oh,
I have all these
I got an appointment. All
all right, whatever. Anyway,
it was a while ago.
Justin and I were hanging out
5
somewhere.
years ago, anyway.
It was, yeah, at least
6, 7,
it was 8, 9,
10,
11.
No.
Justin and I were hanging out somewhere. We'd been to a bowling alley. There was something going on, and we were bowling with some group that he was with or whatever. And we everybody's taking off, and I'm like, dude, remember when we used to turn people's stuff upside down? He was like, yeah. I was like, you want to go turn some people's stuff upside down? and yeah, so we drove over to campus and went around. It's like, it's pretty early still. It's like maybe midnight at the latest, and we're sneaking around, checking doors, see if they're unlocked, and we find this one room totally empty. We're like, sweet. Like, nobody's, like, not empty of stuff, but there's just no people.
No, right.
We're like, awesome. All right, let's get in here. And we started going to work, and then I opened the bedroom door.
And somebody was there?
There were 3 of them, all asleep. And I'm like... I, like,
nice.
Slowly closed the door. We spent about another 3-4 minutes in there, and then we got out. And we took, like, as an added touch, right, we took... all their shampoo and soap and everything in their shower, and we lined them up in a straight line away from the drain. Just so they'd just be like, what is...
The aliens were here.
Yeah. And then we took... they had some Solo cups, like a big stack of them, right? So
big
we took...
Red Solo cup.
Yep. We took a few of those, and like we filled them with water, put the paper over, right, and turned them upside down, like one on the floor, one somewhere where nothing would be harmed, And then we took some other empty ones and put them on top of their computers and stuff, which were further away, so that they would be like, nice. What do we do?
That's brilliant.
Right? Because that was his old prank that he had done that a few times, and so we went ahead and threw it in there.
That's brilliant, actually. Right? Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
Because you get to the first one, you kick it or pick it up, and there's water everywhere, and then you look up and notice how many cups are everywhere, and that they're on your TV, and... So that was all him. I don't know if he got it from somebody, but it was and the word, I mean, I kind of get it now where like people do little pranks, that mess with people when you don't get to see the outcome, because it was a blast. Like, we were like trying so hard not to make noise, laughing while we're doing all this stuff. We're like,
yeah. That's one of the things about me for pranks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't get to. I want to do them, and I've done them. But I don't like not seeing the results.
Right. For us, it was just the imagination filled in the possible reactions.
That's why I'm just cool with just like freaking people out.
Yeah.
Jumping out of the corner, or like sitting around the corner in another part of the room, and like having a mouse on a string.
Yeah.
And when they walk in the room, like pull it and then see them jump on the chair, stuff like that. Not as exciting as yours, but.
Yeah.
At least I get to see the result.
Yeah, I mean, that's my only regret with these. We never got to see, except for the first time we saw the result, but then for like a good 20 minutes, we pretended like we were not the guilty party. And, yeah. I mean, they figured it out eventually, because we kept making stuff up, and then we started laughing at some point. But,
that was a long story, just...
That was, actually.
FYI.
But was it not worth it? Were you not entertained?
I've heard it before. Some of it.
You heard some of it, but...
Pieces of it.
Are you telling me you didn't like the story?
I like the story.
I didn't realize you'd heard all that. Until I remembered that I tried to involve you the one time.
Yeah.
I barely remember that, but you obviously do.
I remember Nicholas, who has OCD.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was you... And I know Joel, an old friend of mine, Joel, came in the room and informing people that he has OCD and he needs things in the room a certain way.
But Nick was saying this?
Me. No.
You were telling
people that he needs, like, he's like Joel. I remember Joel came in, he's like, every time I come in here, everything is exactly the same way. I'm like, well, he has OCD, he needs it that way. And I have it, so I know, what I mean? And Joel's like, well, what if I move this or move that? I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So I remember one time you came in, you wanted to screw with his stuff. You're like, Nick's not here. Let's, like, turn everything upside down. I'm like...
Did I know about his OCD when I suggested
might have informed you at that moment.
Okay. Did I back down? Was I sensitive to his...
Yeah, of course you were.
Really? Okay, good. Yeah. That's good. I figured I would be. I didn't think I was ever that much of a jerk. So, anyway, so tonight we go we find a bunch of bottles. We take them back.
We found them?
We found them.
Okay.
Here in this space. 20 minutes ago, I said we should talk about the Blackout adventure.
Right. Oh, see, that's how long that story was.
Yeah, well, you know.
To lead up to this. Was it to lead up to this?
The what?
I'm trying to think how we got off topic of.
How we got to the flipping stuff over story?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was 20 minutes ago. That was a long time ago. All right, so it's a good question, but I don't know. So we go to
Meyer.
Meyer.
That's how it started.
Yep.
Meyer's how it started.
Yeah, your Meyer and my Meyer.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So they've got this new facility. There's a door that opens up just into the bottle deposit area. So that's where we go. It's right outside. Go in, start depositing bottles. And there's a bunch of them. We're not going to talk about exactly how many there were. But they were taking up significant real estate in my apartment.
And then boom.
Then boom, yeah. It's raining really hard out tonight. It's been raining all day, actually. Like, pretty hard.
It wasn't, though. When we got there, it was fine.
Well, I mean, it was raining, but there have been times where it's... Yeah, I guess,
right.
I don't know. It's not raining so hard that this makes any sense to be weather-related. But we're doing the bottles. We're getting to a decent amount of number. There's 3 other guys in there putting bottles in. And then all of a sudden, the room blacks out for a millisecond. Lights up again. And we're like, what? And all the screens are blank. And then, that happened in like a couple milliseconds. And then it all went dark again for about a full 1 or 2 seconds. And the lights came back on. Displays are gone. And we're all like thinking we're all screwed. And then...
With everybody else in the...
Yeah, and we're all standing there. We like me and Dave, and then 3 strangers,
yeah.
And we're all looking at each other like, "Well, what now?" Like, and this one, I remember one of them walked over. He's like, he's like looking around. He's going up to look out the window, and took us all a minute to realize that when he walked up to the door, it didn't open.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and we're like, "Oh, we're trapped." And then,
so
finally.
Dave walks up to the phone.
Yeah.
Then nobody realizes it was there.
There's a little red emergency phone.
I pick up the phone and somebody answers. Then I see a guy walk through the door. A guy who has no clue what's going on.
Yeah. Because he took a minute.
He had no clue what was going on.
Yeah, he took a minute and there's like some extra bottles laying somewhere and he's like trying to organize them or something. We're like, hey buddy, we got a problem.
He's like,
Yeah, you interacted more with him than I did.
Yeah, I was like, he's like...
Yeah, what'd you say to him?
I'm like, I didn't really interact. I was just like,
He didn't seem like a real people person.
No. He's like, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to go see what I can do for you. And then he took off.
Right, and then we're all standing around.
And then he came back again, got on the phone and sat there without saying a word on that phone.
He never spoke, did he?
For minutes.
I never heard him
Never
speak
said
to
anything,
anybody.
and then left again.
Yeah. Now, during that time, some lady walked up with some bottles.
Yeah.
Door didn't open. One of the other dudes like pulled it open, and they're like, "Hey," they told her what's going on, and she's like, "You guys want my bottles?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, totally." Like he was really excited. It was like 20 bottles.
Right. Gave us half.
Gave us half, which was nice. Yeah. Yeah. And then we all watched out the window.
Wait. By this time, when the machines went down,
yeah,
I had $13 in mine.
All right, I had $17.
17 in yours.
Almost.
And it goes down. And by the way, you looked over to me and said, usually.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah. So I have this weird habit when I'm at the bottle deposit place of like after it gets up to like $4 or $5 maybe, I hit the little button to get a receipt.
Right, just in case.
Just in case something happens and all the information's lost.
Not tonight.
Tonight I was like, that's the stupidest thing in the world to even bother with. It's never happened. So I choose not to do it, and then the power goes out and loses everything. So that was, weird. I don't know how else to put that. That was just bizarre. So we're watching this other lady out there, like, loading up a cart with, like, loose cans.
I didn't see that. I heard them talking about it. I didn't see that.
I looked out, and there's this lady. She's loading it up. She's got this whole cart filled with loose cans. They're not in bags or anything. All of us had them in bags.
Oh, is that the one that came in with the kids?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she walks up, and they're like, oh, I hope she runs into the class. And, like, you know. I think it's kind of funny, yeah. And so we opened the door for her. She came in. And, I mean, we all did wait and see if she would run into the class, but she didn't. And so one of the guys opened the door.
Speaking no English.
That's not true.
I found that out, well, barely.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Yeah.
So, and they're like, yeah, hey, the power's out. Like, do you want to wait around or you just want to give us your bottles? You know?
Some people did.
And some people did. There was some other people took all the bottles back with them. Like, I wasn't about to do that. I was happy to have them out of here. But yeah, that lady was like, no, wait. You know, like, and she went over and stood by a machine with her kids, and
Well,
who were very well behaved, by the way. I don't know if you noticed.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
What?
the other guy came out, the manager or whatever came out.
Yeah.
He's like, what do I owe you?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much we could have said $50.
We could have.
But
that
we're
would have been
honest.
wrong.
But
Yeah.
we're honest.
Yep. That would have been wrong.
And she counted him out in the carriage, and he paid her.
Yeah.
As
Well, we told him our estimates of what we thought we had, and then we had another 90 bottles.
Yeah.
92. It was 92.
30.
We had $39.20.
Which is beautiful because if you go in Massachusetts, it's half that.
That's true. It's not even worth it.
5 cents a bottle.
Why
Right here
bother?
it's 10.
Throw it away.
5 cents.
Yeah.
You pay for it. You might as well get it back.
I guess if I had 12, if I had 6 bottles, right, and I was only going to give you 5 cents a piece back, 30 cents, it would be worth it to me to just throw them away.
New York,
It's 5 cents there.
I've come across where they just toss them.
Well, in Maryland, they get nothing. They just, you know,
That's so it's a whole it's
it's a state thing, yeah.
state recycle thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here, let's see. I think it's Maryland.
I don't get that though because
What's IA? Is that Iowa? All right, hold on. Iowa. Whatever. I think it's Iowa. You don't know either.
they're not
do you?
all on here.
No, all the ones that do it. They print it on the ones that get deposits.
Where are you
They
looking?
send these bottles.
Where are you looking?
I'm looking at where the deposit information is.
Where?
It's on the. Spin it. There you go.
Hmm.
You don't know what IA is either for sure. It's Iowa, I'm going to say. Oregon. Vermont.
I don't have my magnifying glass.
What's ME?
Maine.
Connecticut. Massachusetts. If that's an H, then that must be Hawaii.
Hawaii's not a state.
HI? It's Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio.
And Wyoming. They all get 5 cents. And we are the only ones that get 10 cents.
Really?
Yeah.
Which gives that whole wonderful episode of Seinfeld.
Well, that's exactly why that happened, yeah.
I love that episode.
It's a two-parter, too. It's a story too big to be told in one episode. So, yeah,
and they end up with nothing.
and they lose JFK's golf clubs.
That's right. Yeah.
In the, like, I visited my aunt and uncle live in Maryland, right?
Right.
And I visited them there, and I was shocked to discover they get
Maryland?
nothing. Yeah. Yeah, it's on the East Coast. It's connected to, like, Virginia and Delaware and some other
Remember,
states.
because I knew this, but I guess I never realized it was Maryland for some reason,
You didn't realize what was Maryland.
where they lived.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Was that for some reason? I thought it was Virginia
No.
for some reason.
Virginia sucks.
Now I know why.
I'm just kidding. Why?
Because I have other friend who has family in Virginia.
Oh. You mixed us up for a minute there.
No, so...
So...
Because when I think of things, then I'm thinking, like, Maryland? Who goes to Maryland? Who lives in Maryland? I don't know.
Anyway, so that's besides the point. Anyway, so we wanted to get a second microphone. What?
Cut that right out.
I think, no, that's staying. We go... What?
Nothing?
Was it picking the gunfire up?
I thought it was. It wasn't.
We decide to... we go into Meijer, and in there they got... obviously they had generators or something going on because the lights came back on, but just the deposit machines didn't come back on. So we go into the store.
That's interesting, by the way.
Yeah?
Everything in the place worked. The lights, the...
registers,
everything except for the bottle returns.
yeah. It was like Meijer was trying to make sure that the Dave and Dan mindset never happened.
That's right.
No, but so we go into the store. They've got this nice mood lighting in there, which I honestly really enjoyed it. It's too bright in there usually. Like just back it down a little bit. It's nice. And all the food looked like it was thawing, but
it was almost end of the world kind of thing with the way the lines were.
because there were a lot of people in the lines.
Just a lot of I've never seen that many people in one line for a 12 or less checkout, which I found comical.
For a candy bar.
What you said? Let's go the other. Anyway.
Well, yeah, because we got up to the U scans, which there's what,
Is that
6
what
of
they
them.
call
I don't know, whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's U scan, right? I thought it was, but you go up. It's like there's 6 of them anyway. 2 of them have some weird screen I've never seen before on them. One other one's got the big red circle with the white line through it that just clearly states that this one's not operational. But yeah, we go looking for microphones. Found nothing worthwhile. We found one that might have worked. It was like $30 though.
Yeah, it was more like a headset.
For what would be undoubtedly a horrible microphone.
It was more, like a headset.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, whatever. It could be good, but I doubt it.
I honestly felt that we could go there and find
a cheap,
that,
like a little desk mic or whatever.
Yeah,
or,
just a mic that would pick up, like a lapel mic sort of kind of thing.
Exactly. But, yeah, it didn't happen. We were like, well, that's cool. We'll just go to Best Buy afterwards. And, because we got all this, deposit money. So, ooh, yeah, look at his feet. So, yeah, it's bloody.
That always gets me every time.
Does it?
That's a lot of this.
And,
seriously, one of the most sensitive parts of your body has to be the bottom of your feet.
You think so? I feel like we go around barefoot. Anyway, look, he's...
Stepping on glass?
I wouldn't do it. But choose not to step on the glass.
I'm sure he did not choose it.
He was running very haphazardly over it.
What else is he going to do? I'd rather, jam glass in my arm.
Really? There's arteries and stuff in there. You could hit them and then bleed out.
Oh, they're not in your foot?
Well, look, he's fine. So, yeah, he's crawling across.
Yeah, look at the black man laughing. You're bleeding.
It's like, oh, McLean. You and your foot bleeding stories. It's Carl Winslow right there.
Yeah, right. McLean's like, how's your wife doing?
Well, I got nothing on that. But, so, his feet are bleeding like at the end of somebody's neck after their head gets cut off there. That's a lot of blood for feet.
That's right.
I feel like it was a little overdone for the movie there.
Of course it was.
I could be wrong. I've never cut my feet up that bad. It was a lot of blood.
A lot of blood.
What were we talking about?
The microphone.
Right, so anyway, no dice at Meijer. Horrible selection. There's like 2 options.
Yeah, no selection.
No selection. So we leave, and then we go to, we're walking outside, realize that it's like pitch black out now.
The whole street.
And not just but it was light out still, but we got there like 4:30 or whatever.
Right.
And by the time we got out, it was dark. And none of the parking lot lights are on. We're looking left and right.
But everybody's headlights were working.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't understand why.
The radio worked.
Yeah, because there was no power there, so why does that work? So we look up and down. We see they got cop cars at the intersections, directing people or whatever. And we look across the street where Best Buy would be normally, but was just gone. Mm-hmm. Because it was swallowed up in darkness.
Right.
And
but the mall was fine.
The mall, it turned out, was fine. We drove around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, I think, to experience the guy with the cone flashlight telling us where to go.
And a woman.
Yeah, that's right. There was also a woman doing it.
That's right.
And, that's fair. Because she is just as capable.
Which I must have to mention. That I didn't have to point this out to Dan, but I did point this out.
Yeah, this was interesting to me, too.
That. How civilized are we?
Well, that's what you said. You're driving along. This is what you said to me. We stopped at no light. There's no light anymore. Mm-hmm. There's just darkness if we look up in the sky.
Many, 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 many cars.
Lots and lots of cars.
I mean, that's the main artery.
It's a big deal. And we stopped behind the vehicles that were also stopped, which
right.
We would have stopped even if they weren't there.
Right.
So, maybe not you, but I suggested that we did.
You had to...
I reminded him that when the lights don't work, you treat it as a four-way stop.
Well, there was no...
We went up to this one intersection, there was no cops, nothing, and he was about to blow right through.
I was not.
It looked like it's me. So, and I'm whoa. Well, you gonna treat it as a four-way stop? And
so
we stop and we turn around and we're coming back through, and some other dude
blew right
came flying through, and I'm
he
like,
would have killed somebody easy.
And I said, "That's what you."
He was
almost
going like
did.
30.
I was like, Dave, that's what you almost did. You would have killed somebody.
I was going like 10.
I didn't say that.
I was going like 10.
Because it's creepy out there, so you were creeping along.
Yeah.
It was wise. So we get back through. We're at an intersection, stopped, and Dave's like...
No.
What?
We went through that one.
Fine. Eventually, though,
Oh.
at the point where the story's about to take place, we were stopped at an intersection. And Dave's like, what?
An epiphany.
He had an epiphany. He's like, look how civilized we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean...
And you were like, we could... I don't know, what did you say?
There was like hundreds... I should say hundreds. Many.
There's easily 25, 30 vehicles at the various ends of the intersection.
Yeah, like 25 here, 25 there, 25 here, on each...
Something like that. Like,
I mean,
there were fewer going north and south.
I mean, it's Okemos. This is a pretty heavy-duty intersection, right by the mall.
This particular one was, yeah, for sure.
And everybody is respecting this one person with an orange flashlight.
There's a guy out there, or, I don't know. That was a guy, that one, right?
I'll go with a guy.
All right. There's just a dude, right? He's
with an orange flashlight.
With an orange flashlight with a little cone on the end.
And everybody's listening to him.
And everybody's doing what he says. Now, one person just had to be like, nah, run him over and go. And he was defenseless. There's nothing he could do about it. And then we could all it would be bedlam.
Yeah, so we finally got to go through, and this is the part that cracks me up. Myself, me, the driver, is that when we got to the next intersection with the guy with the flashlight,
yeah,
I was like going through, and everybody else is going through, and all of a sudden it looked like I wasn't supposed to go through. I was like stopping, just looking with this intense gaze at the guy with the freaking flashlight, if I can go or not.
But can I go?
Can I?
And then you weren't sure, but you went anyway. And you're like, what's he gonna do? Run after me? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what happened. And then we got back and we were like, well, can't buy a microphone.
That's right.
So what are we going to do?
That was over.
Yeah, that's... What? I was just putting it back. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to try what we should have tried in the first place and use the one existing microphone.
Which I've suggested many times.
Yeah, but for editing purposes, I was not into.
Because you want two channels?
Right, because what if you get super loud, or what if I get super loud, and then all of a sudden we got an editing problem?
I'm going to go ahead and say right now that...
That never occurred to you?
That did not occur.
The value of 2 microphones for that reason alone never occurred to you.
Mr. Harris, that did not occur to me.
Didn't occur to you, so I could...
The 2 channels, that did not occur to me. I'm sorry. I'm being totally serious right now.
Right. Well, the idea for me was, yeah, you would have your own.
I don't like
would
what he's
have
saying.
He's full of crap right now. So anyway, I mean, this maybe it won't be a challenge at all. I wasn't willing to take that risk.
Well, as we said in the beginning as well,
I don't.
The me here, you there.
Oh right, yeah, the dynamic of our
Yeah,
conversations,
right.
which I personally don't feel like it's been affected by.
No,
this.
I'm not.
But when when the day comes and if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I would like to hear more of this and have it, easier for these gentlemen to do, and you have a spare microphone laying around, go ahead and contact us. Because we'll take it. I don't care what it is. Right? You take it. I mean, I'm going to give it to you probably, unless it's a lot better than this one, in which case you get this one. So I'm going to give you the bad one.
Dude, I would use a Xbox microphone.
Which is exactly why I'm like, you don't care at all.
I don't.
I barely care, but that's more than you care.
It's all in the editing.
I mean, this is a crappy microphone right here anyway. However...
Apparently not.
Well, it's a little better than I thought, because...
It's like a boom mic. It's like a shotgun.
I don't think so, is it? I mean, I thought, a shotgun mic was the one, unidirectional. Only what's right in front of it. We are here with this microphone in between us. I mean, I knew this was an omnidirectional mic, but I don't know much more about mics beyond what I've just said.
I guess. Yeah.
I really thought you were going somewhere with that.
No, because working with Kris and all that, and working with their shotgun mic. Yes, my bad. With the whole.
So wait, I do know what I'm talking about
with
there?
the directional of it, but if you're sitting there with a shotgun mic, we were both like sitting right here, I'm sure it would pick us both up easy, but not like this. No way. As far as you know what I mean.
I wasn't listening for a second. What did you say? I'm sorry. My mind went off somewhere for a sec. Just repeat what you just said.
No, we're done.
I'll just... Right. So anyway, but yeah, basically, so we have a microphone between us, and we're not really even speaking in its general direction, and we're watching the little waveform that's getting created, and it seems like, oh, look at that, it's your slap right there.
So is
that big line there?
Mid-range, that's like
what?
When the peak is mid-range, that's like a good range.
I mean, I feel like it's good enough to work with, for sure.
Because
I'm not.
Because you don't want it to peak, because that's even worse.
Yeah, I mean, you can unpeak it a little.
Work with me here.
I thought I was working with you. All right. Well, so what? So you've been listening to the Dan and Dave Mindset. I'm Dan.
I'm Dave.
That's who we are, and so that's it.
We appreciate you hanging out with us.
Indeed, indeed we do.